Hello everyone, welcome to the Tim Booker channel. Wishing you all a delightful listening experience. Today, the book I'm interpreting for you is Brilliant. It narrates the evolutionary history of artificial light sources from ancient times to the present day. We've grown accustomed to being surrounded by light nowadays. Even though the sunset still brings about the night, darkness no longer equals obscurity. Indoors or outdoors, a variety of artificial lights easily illuminates our surroundings whenever needed, seemingly effortless and taken for granted. However, delving into the evolution of artificial light reveals a starkly different historical reality. In the not-so-distant past, even a feeble candlelight that barely illuminated indoor spaces demanded significant effort to acquire. Scenes ablaze with light existed solely in the homes of the affluent, while for most, nights were shrouded in silence, devoid of the vibrant nocturnal activities we consider ordinary today. In the past, light was scarce, yet human ingenuity never ceased in creating it. From ancient stone lamps dating back 40,000 years, to candles made from animal and plant sources, to arc lights, incandescent bulbs, fluorescent tubes, and now the bright and efficient LED lights of today, artificial light has continuously evolved. Alongside its evolution, human society has undergone profound changes. From the very emergence of artificial light, the trajectory of human civilization's development has been reshaped. Hence, this book serves as a chronicle not only of the evolution of artificial light but also as a narrative delving into the development of human society from an illuminative perspective. By retracing this history, it becomes evident how artificial light has transformed human society. People stay awake later, nightlife becomes richer, productive hours extend beyond daylight, industries rise and fall, and the electrical grid, born from the demand for electricity, carries countless unforeseen functionalities. It can be argued that our modern way of life largely rests upon the foundation of artificial light. Introducing us to this historical journey is American author Jane Brox. Proficient in non-fiction writing, she has taught at Harvard University, Bates College, and Lesley University. Her works have been finalists for the National Book Critics Circle Award and have received numerous accolades such as the New England PN Award and the New England Book Award. Since its release, Brox's Brilliant has garnered acclaim from various media outlets, including Time magazine and the New York Times. While reading this book, I found the author's meticulous and eloquent writing style, enriched by well-placed references to diverse literature, provides a rare sensation of being transported back in time, experiencing those moments firsthand, an exceptional quality for a popular science book. The book is divided into 4 parts and 21 chapters. The first 2 sections follow a chronological timeline, detailing the evolution of fuel-based lamps and electric lights, which we will particularly focus on. The latter 2 sections explore the subsequent developments of electric lights and their societal impact in Europe and America, albeit briefly as the interpretations will differ due to varying national contexts. Considering that artificial light primarily relies on 2 energy sources, fuel and electricity, today's interpretation will delve into 2 parts, elucidating the evolutionary journey of artificial light in the fuel era and the electric era, and the consequential impacts it has had on human society. In the first part, let's delve into how artificial light evolved during the fuel era and its impact on human society. Archaeological evidence indicates humans have used fire for over 1 million years, whether it was a pile of fire on the ground or a torch held in hand, both serving illumination purposes. However, the earliest known purposefully crafted lighting fixture for illumination dates back approximately 40,000 years, a stone lamp. These lamps were essentially flat, unprocessed limestone slabs or naturally perforated limestone blocks. Animal fats were placed in the center, along with wicks made from materials like lichen or moss, emitting a faint glow when ignited. As time progressed, primitive lamps crafted from shells and pottery emerged. Yet, true innovation arose in Rome, where it's believed they pioneered the earliest beeswax candles globally. These candles produced bright, stable flames with even burning rates, but their downside lay in their expensive nature, affordable only for the elite. For common lighting needs, people primarily used animal or plant fats, usually employing whatever was readily available nearby. Animal sources such as manatees, whales, sheep, bison, deer, and plants like coconuts, rapeseeds, and olives were used to extract fats for illumination. Some regions even adopted creative lighting methods. For instance, in places like the West Indies, people caught fireflies to use their light for illumination. In Vancouver Island, residents would burn a dried salmon tied to a stick. In the Shetland Islands, islanders would hunt and store vast amounts of storm petrel bodies, rich in oil, allowing direct candle lighting by inserting wicks into the birds' throats. Regardless of the illuminating source, it was an arduous task for ordinary individuals, profoundly impacting their way of life during that period. Harriet Beecher Stowe, the author of Uncle Tom's Cabin, described the process of candle making for American farm women. They had to meticulously cut animal fats into small pieces, melt them rapidly by roasting in a large pot hung over a fire, and immerse the wicks in the melted fat 3 times to ensure their quality. Subsequently, a water and fat mixture had to be poured into the pot, allowing impurities to settle at the bottom. Timing was crucial. Pouring too early or too late affected the candle's burning quality. Once these steps were completed, the candles required cooling under specific weather conditions to prevent cracking due to rapid cooling or softening due to excessive heat. Furthermore, measures were needed to prevent deterioration and rodent nibbling after production. As Stowe described, making candles was an exhaustive process, 7 times more tiring than washing clothes. A farm woman had to produce hundreds of candles merely to barely sustain her farm's lighting needs during winter. Despite the cumbersome process, candles made from animal fats were inconvenient to use. Compared to modern candles, those made from animal fats were difficult to ignite, store, burned unevenly, and dimmed with prolonged use. To maintain brightness, they needed to be extinguished and relit every half hour, trimming the burnt wicks. Mishandling could produce thick smoke and an unpleasant odor. It's evident that for ordinary households in the past, illumination was indeed a precious and somewhat luxurious commodity. In such material conditions arose tales of people carving holes in walls to steal light or capturing fireflies to light up snowy nights. Illumination not only impacted household lifestyles but also shaped numerous industries in society. For instance, the whaling industry in Europe and America rose and declined due to changes in lighting methods. Whale oil extracted from whales was an excellent lighting fuel, affordable and bright, highly favored by consumers. Another substance extracted from whales, spermaceti wax, was used to produce superior candles. Driven by the demand for illumination, whaling became a vital industry in many European and American countries. In the 18th century, hundreds of whaling ships roamed the seas, hunting species like the right whale and the sperm whale. However, by the mid-19th century, paraffin replaced animal fats, becoming the most common material for candles. Paraffin candles burn steadily, emitting bright flames without smoke, requiring minimal maintenance, hence gradually overshadowing candles made from whale wax. During this period, as kerosene was being refined from petroleum, it emerged as a vital lighting fuel around the 1850s. Kerosene didn't spoil, was affordable, burned brightly, equivalent to the luminosity of 4 to 15 candles, produced minimal smoke, and had no odor. As a cost-effective product, kerosene lamps quickly gained popularity, significantly improving lighting conditions even for the poorest families. At that time, petroleum wasn't yet used to fuel vehicles. Thus, the primary use for extracted oil was producing kerosene for lighting. The urgent need for illumination thus opened the doors to the petroleum era, propelling the development of the oil industry. Today, the petroleum industry forms a critical foundation of industrial civilization, and from this perspective, kerosene lamps served as midwives to the 20th century industrial development. While driving industrial progress, artificial light reshaped the service sector, altering the allocation of a 24-hour day. Before the widespread use of mineral oils in the 19th century, all fuels derived from food. Creating a few more candles meant a reduction in food reserves. Indoor illumination itself was a luxury, and outdoor lighting was even rarer. Geographer Duan Ifu noted that before the Mongol invasion of the southern Song dynasty's capital in 1276, Hangzhou already had a vibrant nightlife. However, this luxury was confined to affluent cities like Hangzhou. In most parts of the world, nights remained dark. Yet, with the advent of gas lamps, there was a turning point. Gas was a mineral resource and didn't consume food reserves. Consequently, the affordable and bright gas lamps offered the first significant possibility for widespread outdoor illumination. Once cities were lit up at night, the rising middle class in European and American countries had more leisure time in the evenings. Shops, taverns, restaurants, and theaters gained new vitality due to gas lamps. Therefore, by the mid-19th century, the term nightlife emerged, granting people the ability to freely control their long nights. While gas lamps illuminated urban areas, kerosene lamps were distributed in towns and rural areas without access to gas pipelines. Gas lamps represented a modern lifestyle devoid of independence, while kerosene lamps were seen by many families as a symbol of retaining independence. In the complementarity and collaboration between the two, the fuel era of artificial light gradually reached its peak. Part 2, the era of artificial light. The artificial light of the fuel era underwent a transformation from animal and vegetable oils to mineral oils and gas, slowly improving lighting conditions over thousands of years. The significant shift to electricity marked a huge leap forward. In this section, we'll delve into how artificial light evolved in the age of electricity and its impacts on human society. Starting from the 17th century, humanity began studying electricity through the lens of modern science. From initial experiments in generating static electricity to the later development of Leyden jars for storing it, successive generations of scientists gradually explored this invisible and intangible phenomenon. It wasn't until 1802, nearly around the time gas lamps were introduced, that the British chemist Humphrey Davy first produced light using electricity. Although it lasted only for an instant, its significance was profound. 7 years later, Davy created the first sustainable electric lamp. He passed an electrical current through a carbon rod, then made contact with another carbon rod, causing a spark to jump from the first to the second. When he pulled the two rods apart, a dazzling blue-white arc light appeared. This was the prototype of the arc lamp. While Davy successfully produced light using electricity, he never applied his work beyond experimental demonstrations. The real application of arc lamps began with the Russian inventor Pavel Yablachkov. It was his improvements that led to the first arc lamp appearing on the streets of London and Paris in 1878. The brightness of the arc lamp was unprecedented. One lamp equaled approximately 800 candles or 6 gas lamps. Before the introduction of arc lamps, outdoor lighting had only solved the transition from darkness to some illumination, from candles to gas lamps. Although brightness gradually increased, the streets remained relatively dim. It wasn't until the introduction of arc lamps that the streets truly lit up at night. However, this brightness came with drawbacks. While the arc lamp excelled in brightness, its downside was its excessive intensity, rendering it unsuitable for household use and impossible to lower in power. To serve homes with electric lighting, alternative types of lamps needed development. Since Humphrey Davy's first demonstration of electric light, scientists worldwide had been attempting to develop a moderately bright incandescent lamp. Despite decades of efforts, no breakthroughs were made until 1878 when the American inventor Thomas Edison joined the pursuit. Edison focused extensively on finding the optimal material for the lamp's filament, experimenting with carbon, platinum, silicon, boron, and circling back to carbon. They carbonized fishing line, sandalwood, spruce, coconut fiber, and countless other substances. One day, Edison's assistant placed a horseshoe-shaped filament made of carbonized cotton thread into a vacuum glass bulb, successfully creating a bulb that stayed lit for 14 hours. This marked the practical feasibility of the incandescent bulb. Following this success, Edison actively promoted the incandescent lighting system, including bulbs, power stations, and transmission lines. He installed the incandescent lighting system in a textile factory, freeing the factory's working hours from reliance on natural light. He also installed it in the home of the financier J.P. Morgan, marking the first entry of electric lighting into private residences. Subsequently, incandescent bulbs swiftly made their way into households, shaping the overall pattern of arc lamps illuminating streets and large buildings, and incandescent bulbs lighting interior spaces. Later, the American inventor Nikola Tesla researched and improved alternating current, AC, systems, ultimately allowing AC to dominate the power market. AC enabled long-distance power transmission, bringing about societal impacts far beyond lighting itself. While the initial demand for electricity came from lighting, in the first few decades of the 20th century, power companies were still referred to as electric light companies. However, this term quickly became obsolete as households, once connected to electricity, sought various appliances, from irons to vacuum cleaners, washing machines, and refrigerators. These appliances enhanced household labor efficiency, revolutionizing lifestyles based on electrical systems. From this perspective, the impact of the incandescent bulb was enormous. It not only brought illumination but also established a modern way of life based on electrical systems. Of course, the history of artificial light is far from over. After Edison's improvements to the incandescent bulb, tungsten became a more durable filament material in 1911, making incandescent bulbs brighter and more reliable. However, incandescent bulbs had their issues. They generated substantial heat and wasted energy. A 60-watt bulb could produce filament temperatures twice that of molten steel in a furnace. The intent was to convert electrical energy into light, inadvertently wasting it as heat. Thus, developing a light source with lower energy waste and heat became imperative. In the 1930s, the General Electric Laboratory in New York developed a new light, the fluorescent lamp. Its main structure was a glass tube containing mercury, argon, and a phosphor coating. When powered, the current vaporized the mercury into gas, producing ultraviolet light during current transmission, which then interacted with the phosphor coating to produce visible light. Compared to incandescent bulbs, fluorescent lamps had much higher energy efficiency, releasing only a quarter of the heat and consuming a quarter of the energy for the same brightness. As an efficient and economical lighting method, fluorescent lamps rapidly captured the market. By the mid-20th century, over half of indoor lighting in the United States came from fluorescent lamps. Of course, today, there have been many new innovations in lighting, such as the familiar light-emitting diodes, LEDs. Consisting of miniature plastic bulbs, LEDs illuminate through the movement of electrons in semiconductor materials. LEDs don't have filament burnouts and don't require the mercury that needs recycling. They improve upon the efficiency of fluorescent lamps and are highly durable, with a lifespan of decades. Presently, the prevalence of LED lights continues to increase, passing the torch from one generation of lighting to another, becoming the mainstream artificial light type today. Praising the assistance artificial light has provided is not unwarranted, but technology is always a double-edged sword. While it benefits humanity, it also brings numerous negative impacts. Ubiquitous artificial light disrupts the natural circadian rhythm, where darkness typically induces melatonin secretion and encourages sleep. Yet, in artificially lit nights, this rhythm is evidently disturbed. Furthermore, artificial light affects the normal survival and reproduction of animals. Many nocturnal animals use darkness to conceal themselves, but under the influence of artificial light, they easily become exposed, losing their advantage for survival. Additionally, various bird species and mammals use the night sky's starry distribution for navigation and positioning. However, with the invasion of artificial light, they are easily misled and confused. At this point, consider, when was the last time you saw a night sky filled with stars? When did you last witness the Milky Way? Statistics indicate that 2/3 of Americans and half of Europeans can't see the Milky Way with the naked eye. It's likely similar in our circumstances. Apart from the brightest 2 or 3 dozen stars, in areas affected by moderate light pollution, people can see around 300 relatively bright stars of the 2nd and 3rd magnitude. However, around 7,000 dimmer 4th, 5th, and 6th magnitude stars vanish from sight. The sky brightens while the stars dim. In today's cities, gazing at the night sky has become quite challenging. Perhaps this is the price we pay for the convenience brought by artificial light. Alright, that's about the end of this book. Let's summarize briefly. First, we discussed the evolutionary journey of artificial light in the fuel era, and its impact on human society. Lighting instruments in the fuel era transitioned from animal and vegetable oils to mineral oils and gas. While animal fats were readily available, their use for lighting required significant human and material investment, often resulting in poor lighting effects. However, the advent of gas and kerosene lamps significantly lowered lighting costs and improved quality, enabling outdoor illumination. During this period, industries such as whaling, mining, and petroleum experienced fluctuations alongside changing lighting needs. The service sector saw new developments at night, and nightlife gradually became a new way of life for people. Next, we delved into the evolutionary journey of artificial light in the electricity era, and its impact on human society. Starting from the 19th century, electrically powered lamps transitioned from experimentation to practical application. Arc lamps took the initial stage due to their bright light, becoming the mainstay for outdoor lighting. Later, Edison's improved incandescent bulbs, known for their soft light, gradually became the preferred choice for indoor lighting. Subsequently developed fluorescent and LED lamps reduced heat generation, further enhancing the efficiency of electric lighting. Electric lighting not only provided higher quality illumination but also brought modern lifestyle into every household. However, omnipresent artificial light also brings certain negative impacts on human health and the surrounding environment, reminding us of the fine balance in the technological domain. Furthermore, regardless of the country or the technology, be it artificial light or any other, the relationship between society and technology often converges. The influence of new technology tends to overflow and reshape many other fields. As history illustrates through artificial light, its impact isn't merely about brightness, it also brings about an entirely new pace of life, fostering the emergence of crucial industries like petroleum and electricity. Over an extended timeline, it even contributed to the development of the second and third industrial revolutions. If someone were to ask why the impact of artificial light is particularly significant, perhaps the answer lies in our inherent instinct to pursue brightness. We are, in a sense, born seekers of light. That summarizes the essence of this book. Congratulations on completing another book. Thank you all for your support and attention. Please subscribe to the Tim Booker channel, like this video, and share this valuable knowledge with your friends. Let's combine wisdom and practice to achieve our financial goals and create a better future together. Thank you all. Goodbye.